In the quiet hills of Judea, where the wind kissed the tops of olive trees and wildflowers painted the meadows, there lived a shepherd boy named Eliam. He was the youngest of 6 children, born into a humble family that had tilled the land and tended flocks for generations. Their home, made of worn stone and covered in ivy, sat nestled on the edge of a valley where time seemed to move a little slower. Eliam's father, Abner, was a man of deep faith and few words. He believed that God was not only in the scriptures, but in the spaces between them, in the silence, the stillness, the soft rustle of sheep grazing at dawn. From a young age, Eliam was different. While other children ran through the fields with slings and games, he would sit alone, watching the sky change colors with the setting sun. He listened more than he spoke. He noticed things others did not: how a lamb limped before anyone else did, how clouds gathered in the distant hours before the first raindrop fell. He felt, deep in his soul, that the world was filled with meaning, if only one knew how to look. One evening, when the hills glowed gold beneath the last light of the day, Eliam wandered farther than usual. He had been following a wayward lamb, its bleating barely audible over the breeze. As he climbed over a rocky outcrop, he saw something that stopped him in his tracks. A bush on the hillside had erupted in flames, but the fire did not consume it. The leaves shimmered green through the gold, the branches stood strong, untouched by ash or smoke. Heart-pounding, Eliam stepped closer. The air around him felt heavier, fuller, as if the sky itself was holding its breath. Then came the voice, quiet, steady, not heard with ears but felt in the marrow. "Eliam." The boy froze. His hands trembled. "Take off your sandals. This place is holy." He dropped to his knees, removed his sandals with shaking hands, and lowered his head. "I have seen the sorrow of my people," the voice said. "The forgotten, the broken, the quiet ones who cry when no one listens. I have chosen you." "Me?" Eliam whispered. "I'm no one. I have no strength, no wisdom." "You have the heart to see the invisible," the voice replied. "You have listened long enough. Now you must speak." When Eliam returned home that night, he was changed. His mother noticed it in his eyes, the way they seemed to carry a quiet fire. His siblings thought he had seen an angel. He told no one about the voice or the fire, but everything he did began to reflect it. He gave his bread to hungry strangers, sat beside the lepers others avoided, and told parables by firelight about kindness, faith, and courage. People began to gather around him, not because of miracles, but because of how they felt in his presence. Seen, understood, loved. One day, while traveling through a small village by the Jordan River, Eliam encountered a blind beggar named Tiras, who had not seen light since childhood. He was known by everyone, pitied by most, but truly loved by none. Eliam sat beside him. "Do you miss the light?" he asked. Tiras nodded. "More than anything. But I miss being looked at more." Eliam reached for his hands. "Then today you will be seen by heaven." He closed his eyes, whispered a prayer so soft the wind had to lean in to hear, and when he opened them again, Tiras gasped. He blinked at the sky, then at Eliam's face. Tears fell freely. "I see you," Tiras said. "I see everything." Word of this spread quickly, but Eliam did not seek fame. He continued walking from village to village, always on foot, always with little more than his staff, a cloak, and the quiet fire in his heart. His stories grew in number. He told of a mustard seed that grew into a great tree, of a shepherd who left 99 sheep to find the one that wandered, of a traveler beaten and saved not by a priest, but by a stranger with no name. One day, near the shores of Galilee, a crowd gathered to hear him speak. They came from all over: farmers, merchants, children, soldiers in secret, widows, and scholars. Some came with hope, others with skepticism. But all came hungry. Hungry for food, yes, but more so for something deeper. For peace. Seeing their weariness, Eliam felt sorrow. "They have walked miles for a few words," he said to his friend Jonah. "But words cannot fill empty stomachs." A small boy pushed through the crowd and tugged on Eliam's sleeve. "I brought lunch," he said shyly, holding out a small woven basket. Inside were 5 barley loaves and 2 dried fish. Eliam smiled. "What is your name?" "Micah." "Micah," Eliam said, placing a hand on his shoulder, "you have given more than food today. You have given faith." He raised the basket, closed his eyes, and whispered, "May love multiply what little we have." Then he broke the bread and passed it to Jonah. "Feed them." Jonah hesitated. "But it's not enough." "It never is," Eliam replied, "until you give it away." One by one, hands passed the food, and somehow the basket never emptied. Every family ate. Every child was fed. Even the skeptics, mouths full, could not deny what they had seen. When the sun dipped below the hills, 12 full baskets remained. And in the center of it all stood Micah, beaming. But not everyone celebrated. In the shadows stood men from the temple, watching, whispering. "He challenges our teachings," one muttered. "He breaks bread like a priest, yet he is just a shepherd." "He speaks of God as if he walks beside him," another said. "This cannot continue." Soon after, Eliam was summoned by the council of elders. They questioned him for hours, accused him of sorcery, of stirring unrest, of leading the people away from tradition. He answered every question with humility. "I seek not to replace truth," he said, "but to remind you of the love it was built upon." But it was not enough. They exiled him. The decree spread fast. The quiet flame must leave Judea. He would no longer speak in public, no longer teach, no longer gather crowds. He packed his few belongings, said nothing in protest, and quietly left under the light of a pale moon. Before departing, he found Micah one last time. "The people still need you," Eliam said. "You must be their shepherd now." "I'm too young," Micah said, tears welling. "So was I. So was David. The Lord looks not at age, but at heart." Micah embraced him. "Will I see you again?" Eliam smiled. "You'll see me in every act of kindness, in every story you tell, in every broken heart you mend." Years passed. Eliam became a legend. Some said he wandered east and healed entire villages. Others swore they saw him speaking with strangers near city gates. Some said he died in a distant land. But Micah grew into a man, and like his mentor, he walked from town to town, telling stories, breaking bread, seeing the unseen. In time, people no longer asked if Eliam had performed miracles. They remembered how he had made them feel whole, loved, worthy. And in quiet places, where the olive trees sway and the sheep still graze, some say you can hear a voice in the wind. Give what you have, trust what you are, and never be afraid to carry the flame.